Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. We'll discuss the big reset and the XRP cryptocurrency. Okay, so let's begin. Agenda 2030 is what they have in store for you, so it's important to learn about it as soon as possible. All the world's globalist leaders are conspiring to force us into a fresh start, and that's why One World is so important. They also cloak it behind other buzzwords like the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Build Back Better. Trade is going digital, money is going digital, payment methods are going digital, and even the housing market is going digital, via tokenization. Welcome to the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the digital age. And that trend will only intensify in the future. Because everything around us will be digitized. Eventually, hopefully not too far off. Klaus Schwab has declared that he will hasten the end of personal vehicle ownership. This original scheme for the year 2050 was his brainchild. They're pushing to get it done by 2030 now that the public is starting to catch on to the globalist elite's agenda. You may recall that I predicted in videos posted last year that older, classic automobiles would increase in value dramatically in the future, when everyone would prefer to do their computing on their phones rather than in the car. But how would they be able to do this? In light of the recent backlash against the kill switch provision, which could render vehicles inoperable, it is imperative that your vehicle be able to track your driving habits. Whenever it determines that you are not the one behind the wheel. In any case, it might render your car useless, and the common explanation is that drunk drivers or those under the influence of drugs are to blame. This is how they plan to keep you confined in the future's 15-minute city. Will you put me on a cigarette warning tape and you promise to give up meat? Insects? Are you going to eat those? You know, even if they warn me, I'm still going to go out and get myself a steak. Most of you would probably do the same thing. But at this point, they're even trying to frighten people away from meat consumption. The price of housing has dropped precipitously. Do you ever ponder the means by which they plan to prevent you from acquiring property in the future? They're already partaking in it. There will soon be a major downturn, you know. We can see it approaching. This crash, when it comes, will be even more severe than the one in 2008. Why? Because people back then still had savings. However, inflation has reached the point where it is eroding people's savings. A lot of folks don't have anything left. Now they're down to living entirely on credit. This is evident as credit card debt continues to soar to new heights on a weekly basis. And most people are priced out of the housing market altogether. Most individuals cannot buy a property at this stage right now. No homeowner should ever refinance their mortgage or take out a second mortgage on their primary residence. Simply put, they will eventually devise a plan to force you out of your house. They hope that someday you'll be a tenant for the rest of your life, with no desire to buy anything for yourself. On a panel for the World Government Summit hosted by the World Economic Forum and PIPA titled "We Are Ready for a New World Order Global Leaders for Tomorrow," Malvina Green spoke. And now we have official word that government-issued digital currencies are on the way. If we keep nearly perfect records of all economic transactions, we can get a much clearer picture of what's going on. It also poses serious threats to the delicate balance of power between the government and its constituents. But don't worry, the media assured you that CBDCs are merely a theory. That way, you can continue to live in complete denial, with your head firmly buried in the sand. Many nations will have CBDCs operational by the year's end or early in 2019. They all knew it would be used to monitor your spending habits. But they said it was impossible for humans to do that. Since he'll have AI taking care of that for him. Artificial intelligence developed by humans is constantly improving. The New York Fed has begun testing digital dollars with major financial institutions in a pilot program. And, you know, the American public is delusional. Nobody believes the US will ever adopt a digital dollar. They're currently making progress on it. If they're working on it, you can guarantee we will see it in the future years. You can't avoid a CBDC. When everyone else is using one, it's time to start doing so, too. People need to stop taking everything they hear or read in the media at face value and start paying attention to the world around them. CBDCs will be mandatory for everyone, the head of the IMF International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva said that the globalist organization is working a global CBDC platform that will be mandatory for all citizens of the world, one world currency. That's what they're pushing for through CBDCs. It's going to start out that every country has their own currency. However, in the future, all of a sudden, we will use a single currency around the world, because the CBDCs will realize it is too difficult to decide which currency should be transacted here and there. The majority of countries around the world have legislation in place, and our own final legislation is in the works for stable coins. I mentioned previously that global stablecoin regulations would need to be in place before a CBDC could be established. These regulations are now in the works and will be released in the near future. For the same reason I keep stressing in my videos, it's probably best to get rid of your meme coins as soon as possible. And when you say that, they look at you like you have two heads. The speed with which this will occur is lost on them. One day, you'll open your eyes to find new rules in place. Americans tend to think, oh, well, that's not going to happen in the US because the US is lagging behind when presented with a new idea. Probably not, they're just going to have to accept the same fate as the rest of us. You should really think about that. The World Bank and the World Economic Forum are pushing for CBDC to gain control of the financial system, and they'll tell you that a cyber attack is the next big threat that will bring the world to its knees and leave it in the dark. Then, what's the point of investing in CBDCs? Cash is king, no reset necessary. They are already planning for future cyber attacks, as we have seen. Fortunately, XRP Ledger provides an offline alternative to CBDC. Examine the Bank for International Settlements CBDC systems, both online and off. And I just covered it and an XRP video as well. There must be a good reason why they're trying to get people to use offline CBDCs. I've noticed the same thing occurring at Hatteras M Tech campus. I witnessed how remarkable in discussions of offline CBDCs in Ukraine. The rise of automated labor, would a guaranteed minimum income help? It is inevitable that UBI will accompany the introduction of a CBDC. And you will work to enroll as many people as possible in the UBI as soon as possible. Quite frankly, I believe that many human jobs will soon be rendered obsolete by artificial intelligence. This fourth industrial revolution also sees the complete mechanization of all processes. But some criticized the UBI, saying, "Whoa, I don't see anything wrong with the UBI. It allows you to do all the things you want to do." No, it doesn't help at all. Simply put, if you try to buy something the government doesn't want you to buy, they won't let you. It's not possible to purchase anything that will generate carbon emissions without also purchasing carbon offsets in order to put it to use. The government can easily cut off your finances even if you speak out against them online. However, this survey is about a pilot program in England that will test out a universal basic income, UBI, of £1,000 per month. What do you think of this plan? And 19,303 votes were cast? 65.6% said yes, people will line up for blocks, if they're getting something for free from the government. People will adopt the UBI at that rate. In a short while, they'll be lining up again to have the chip implanted. That chip is also on the way. Hugo Navarro, head of the World Economic Forum, is a strong proponent of implanting chips in humans. Navarro argues that external sensors, such as those found in rings or smartphones, are insufficient. Even if it costs me all of my XRP, I will never, ever get that chip. Nonetheless, that's what they're advocating for. As long as it's gratis, there will be a line to get it. The time has come, however, when you can watch this material go live around the globe. And still, many refuse to accept that it actually happened. You talk to people outside of crypto, and you tell them, listen, I think the US is pushing towards a digital dollar. Oh, you're crazy. That's never going to happen in our lifetime. Well, there's FedNow, then you prove to them that FedNow is real. And then they're like, well, I don't think there's going to push out cash. Of course, they're going to push out cash. And the way they're going to do it is even the people that want to keep cash, they're going to always say, well, here's an incentive to use CBDC instead, or maybe your purchases over a certain amount. So now you've got to use a CBDC, you have no other option. They're going to eat little by little, force you to use CBDC as an alternative to cash until cash disappears. Right now a lot of people will say, well, cashless society would be a good thing. I don't really use cash anyway. But it's still available. If something happened, you can still go to an ATM and pull out some cash. You could still transact without anyone seeing what you're doing. In the future, every single transaction will be tracked and traced. It will happen on a blockchain using an AI. And that time is coming. And that's another reason I always tell people in my XRP videos, you need to hold on to your XRP for dear life. It's the one thing that can possibly save you from a CBDC. Because if you enrich yourself, I think you could possibly. Why would you ever sell your XRP for CBDC? XRP is going to be used to move a CBDC from one country to another country, and vice versa. So I think it would be worth more than CBDC. Maybe it's your ticket away from one, who knows. We're not quite there yet. But with that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.